Arthur Rolnick. I am a senior fellow at the Humphrey School of Public Affairs, co-director of an Institute on Early Childhood Education, one that promotes the research as well as outreach. So we do a lot of community outreach on early ed around the Twin Cities, actually around the whole state, trying to take the best research and implement it. At 18%, it's an inflation-adjusted return that's fairly low risk based on this research, if done right. If the market saw an 18% inflation-adjusted, low-risk investment, it would not go unfunded. It just wouldn't. Unfortunately, this is a public return. Most of this return is, some of it, of course, is to the child. The child has a better life. But a lot of these returns, whether it's reducing crime or reducing the cost of public schooling or increasing the productivity of teachers, these are public returns. Problem here is that these kids don't vote. Their families tend not to vote. They don't have much political clout. And so in Minnesota, for example, the Minnesota Vikings get $500 million for their stadium, and we're lucky to get $1 million for early childhood education. So unfortunately, there's a lot of public, quote, public investments in the name of job creation, which is a bit of a myth, that gets funded before these kids. And their return, I argue most of that money that goes for economic development is a zero return. We argue that early childhood development is the best economic development investment you can make. But politically, we've got some hurdles. We've got some really high hurdles we have to jump in order to get the funding that we should need. Who would look at this research, think about this research, and be willing to invest? Well, what surprised me is it turned out to be our business community. In particular, the CEOs of some of our top companies, Target, Best Buy, Ecolab, Cargill, the list goes on of the top Fortune 500 companies that are located in Twin Cities in Minnesota. They got it. If you think about these successful companies, I know a lot of people are critical of businesses for having a very short-term horizon looking at the next quarter profits. Not true of your most successful companies. They've got visions of their company that go out 10, 20, 30 years, and their community. They realize they need a high-quality community to attract high-quality workers, and they need high-quality workers. So they recognize a lot of these vulnerable kids, mostly kids of color, are going to be their future workforce. They need to educate them. So looking at this research, they were convinced, and they put a lot of their own money on the line to start us up. So we started up as a nonprofit, private money, giving out early learning scholarships so these kids can go to high-quality programs, and which included money for mentors. And it was $20 million that came out of these corporations' pockets to show the legislators, to show the state of Minnesota that we could do this and we could get these kids succeeding in life and have a huge long-term benefit on the quality of the workforce in Minnesota. So it did surprise me, and as I go around the country speaking on this, people ask, how did you get it going? And I talk about our business community. It is somewhat unique. We had some really progressive-minded, future-minded businesses that were willing to make this investment. And as I go around the country on this issue, I can tell you it's easy to market these ideas to business people.